Alright, so in this video, I'm going to give my full thoughts on Low-Key Season 2. This is going to be my review of the entire season, the 6 episodes that we got, and looking back on it. So, first and foremost, I want to say that unlike Season 1, with Season 2, I actually did go back and rewatch it. Right after Episode 4 came out, I went back and rewatched Episode 3, 2, and then 1. That's right, I saw them in reverse order. Again, I had seen them in regular order, but I saw them in reverse order. Now, originally, I didn't like episode 2 at all. When I watched it back, I liked it more. I feel like it's still the weakest episode of the 6 that we got this season, but it definitely was better than I had remembered, and I for sure liked it more the second go around because you saw how everything kind of tied in together. So I want to say that after Low-Key Season 2, Low-Key, both Season 1 and 2, continues to be the best, the absolute best MCU Disney Plus show. Not only that, but it also has the esteemed privilege of being the best thing that the MCU has done since Endgame. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, what about No Way Home? No Way Home probably is right up there. It's probably tied with it, I would say, because there was a lot of emotion going into it. However, I do feel like No Way Home is actually less powerful now than it was when it first came out. I still like the movie, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really hit me. And it could also be a recency bias because this Loki did just end, a few days ago. So this show was so well written, though. Season 1 and Season 2 together, the writer said it was like two parts of one big book, and it felt like that. You could tell that with Loki. I can't speak for the rest of the MCU because there's obviously examples that don't correlate with what I'm about to say. But with Loki, the writing staff definitely took their time and they definitely thought about how they were going to tell this story. Obviously, with time travel, you're going to have problems, you're going to have plot holes, but you're going to have a lot of fun too. And they managed to make a show that was not only very thought provoking with great characters, likable characters, character arcs, which is something that some of the other Disney Plus shows had, but are nowhere near as powerful as this one, probably because of how important Loki has been for the MCU and because of how Tom Middleton plays him. But the writing was just great, and you also had different aspects of time travel get explored here. You had predestination paradox, you had the Ouroboros time loops, you had the grandfather paradox. They were bringing in a lot of different concepts for, storytelling, both time travel and multiversal types of storytelling. And if you remember when they first promoted Loki, this would have been before Avengers Endgame even came out. I remember the story. No, it was after. I'm sorry. It was right after. The story was that we thought it was going to be a show where Loki was going to go around different parts of history with the Tesseract and start messing around with time. You know what I mean? Like kind of being the god of mischief, so to speak, and influencing events throughout history. And that's not what happened. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. What happened was we got the TVA and we got our introduction to the next big Marvel villain, Kang the Conqueror, and his variants, He Who Remained and Victor Timely. So, Season 2 introduced us to Victor Timely, and I love the way Jonathan Majors played that character. The little extra, the stutter and like some of the lines he had and the way he delivered them. He's a fish out of water. He's nervous. He's the most different version of He Who Remained / Kang that we've seen so far. And it seems that even though he definitely was, he definitely was timid and afraid. He was also a shyster. But at the end of the day, he came off like probably the most decent person of all of them. I love how the finale of Season 1 and the finale of Season 2 kind of go together. I love how we witnessed like He Who Remains ultimately having so much control over everything and Loki having to make tough decisions. Like, this was so well done. Also, Season 2 expanded upon Miss Minutes, played by, Tara Strong. We found out more about that character. We found out that she was an AI created by He Who Remains to play chess with him and evolved and actually grew feelings for him. She was in love. Even though she was the machine, she was in love with He Who Remains. She was also a psycho. I'll never forget the scene where those people in the jail were being destroyed. They were being crushed with the box. And she's smiling and drooling like it's the best thing she's ever seen. She's a legitimate psycho. That was something I wasn't expecting. We also found out more about Renslayer. And honestly, the future of Renslayer has still yet to be written. She is, right now, in the end of time, in the void. Eliath is probably going to be there. Where else would he be, right? And I feel like we might see her again, or maybe a variant of her in the upcoming Avengers movies. The purpose of Loki was to get us ready for the multiversal saga and to get us ready for Kang the Conqueror. Same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But the other purpose of Loki was to give Loki another arc. It's crazy that he already had an arc that we saw from the original Thor movie going into Avengers, and then later, of course, we saw it in Thor 2, and then obviously in Thor Ragnarok, and then he died in Avengers Infinity War. And this version of Loki from 2012 had a different character arc, but at the end of the day, he turned out to be pretty much what he always wanted, but he also changed. Compare Loki at the end of this show, at the end of season 2, to the beginning of season 1. So different. More emotional, more loving, more understanding. He really became a hero here, more so than he had ever been in the past. They did a lot with this Loki variant. We didn't see the other Lokis in season 2, except for Sylvie, but even she kind of became this character that acted like she didn't care, but she actually did care. And there's people like that I've known all my life, and that's good stuff. I'll never forget the episode where they went back in time to find Victor Timely in the Chicago Fair. I had so much fun watching that episode. One of my favorites. I'll never forget episode 4 with the big cliffhanger, or episode 5 where Loki sees the TVA members like Ouroboros, who was a fantastic addition to the show for season 2, and Mobius, who once again, Owen Wilson nails it, B-15, everybody, and seeing their real lives, and Loki having to bring the team back together. I want more. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm sad it's over. It was a crazy ending, but I am sad that it's over because I was just now really starting to love these characters. We know the TVA will still be around, but they may be done with Sylvie and Mobius. Those two characters may never appear again because they got an arc. Their character, I think we'll see Loki again. Their character is over, but it feels like this is it. We might see him in Secret Wars in a cameo, but it feels like this is it. I want to give a huge shout out to Eric Martin. He was the lead writer for this show. He wrote all 6 episodes with some other writing partners. He nailed it. He was able to tell an interesting science fiction time travel story that kept us all engaged without having it be fight. He managed to create likable characters and have us care about these characters. And this guy should stick around Marvel because he's definitely an MVP. He is an MVP. He's like the Russo brothers. They're in the same category. I want to give a shout out to Justin Benson, Aaron Moorhead, directing a few of these episodes, the last 3. Dan DeLiu, and the first one, of course. The whole staff did a tremendous job with this show. And I want to give a shout out to Tom Hiddleston. He has been playing this character since Thor. You know, he's one of the oldest MCU characters. The only other one that's older that's still around would be Nick Fury, right? And of course, the Thor character, because he was from Thor. But Loki understood himself in this season. We found out that he didn't want to be alone. That we also found out that he was finally able to become a god and actually become a god worthy of being a god, not just ruling over people and feeling super important. Now he is super important because he is obviously in control of time now. And I think we'll see him again. I'm actually honestly sad, y'all. I'm sad that this show is over because I had a really, really good time with it. And now that I'm sitting here recording this review, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it really hit me that I don't think we're going to get a season 3. I think they wrapped up so much of it. I think we'll see these characters again in future movies, but I don't know if we're going to get a season 3 because it feels like the story they were trying to tell, which is the evolution of Loki and the introduction of the Kang the Conqueror variants, was effective here. And the introduction of the TVA and the explanation of the multiverse. I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out that this show is over. Because I had a really good time with it. I had a really, really good time with it. I don't know if I like this more than season 1. I think some of the episodes were better. I think episode 3, 4, and 5 were better than almost anything in season 1. The ending of this show, the finale, was crazy, but it also opened up a bunch of unanswered questions. So I am a little bit, I'm a little on the fence about it, right? But this is the best Disney Plus show, and I wish every Disney Plus show, MCU Disney Plus show, I wish all of them were like this. So yeah, season 2 was great. Those are my thoughts. What did you think? Let me know down below. Subscribe, man. Be a pal. I want to get to 100K on this channel. I want another play button. Help me out. See you soon.